Hello, welcome to this quick tutorial on how to enroll your church with CarePortal for the very first time. My name is Kyle Johnson. I'm one of the regional managers out of Texas, and I've got a unique opportunity to enroll a church on behalf of a pastor who's kind of given me his permission. And so I get to do a live demonstration with you and just show you exactly what that looks like. I'm hoping that this will be helpful for any of you who have maybe attempted it and hit some kind of technology roadblock. If you're not great with technology or you just want to see this done before you attempt it yourself, I hope to show you that it's really very easy. But as always, there's some glitches and some things that can happen with technology. So here we go. I'm just on the CarePortal website, careportal.org. And to enroll a church, you'll come up to churches and I'll hit enroll my church. And that will bring up a database list of, I think it's like over 65,000 churches in the country that I've got to basically find my church out of that list so that I can enroll. Here you see 65,000, almost 66. But the name of the church that I'm enrolling is University Baptist Church. There we go. And I'm going to hit search, and it will find any churches that are kind of related to that. So this one's on University Drive, but it's broken down by county. So I'm going to scroll down directly to the county that this church is in, Tarrant County, and well, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to hit enroll church again. And it's going to bring me up to a form that I need to fill some specific information out about this church. If I want to change the name of how this is displayed, I can do that. Obviously, this church is Baptist, so I'll put that there. Select some basic parameters on where the church is located, what type of congregation it typically is. Make sure everything is correct. Keep scrolling down. I don't have any questions or comments, but if you did have questions or comments, you could type them here. This would be getting in touch with the regional manager on behalf of, or in that area, so you can just go ahead and start that conversation. The good thing is that as soon as I submit this form, the regional manager for that area is going to be notified. So right off the bat, somebody's going to be getting in touch with me to set up an orientation. And we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. How did I hear about CarePortal? I'll give myself the credit there. And then this particular pastor, his name is Jeremiah. And I'm just going to enter his information in. And then it's going to show, just make sure that I am aware of what's going to happen next. After I enter all that information in, the bottom of this page is going to have just a quick recap of what's going to happen. I understand, okay, next step, I'm going to be getting an email asking me to verify a point person. And then after that, we'll do an orientation meeting with the regional manager who will be getting in touch with me. And then the brief implementation plan. That is actually something that will be a very natural byproduct of that orientation, so that'll be a cinch. That's it. I'm going to hit yes, I've reviewed it, and I'm going to hit submit. And there it is. So I've begun the process of enrolling the church with CarePortal. So now I'm going to go back to my email, and I'll wait for this email that should be coming through at any moment, and we will pick it up. And here we go. Here's the email that I was waiting for, and it's just giving me a link to where I can complete step 1 for finishing the enrollment with the church. So I click that, and it's going to direct me straight to a form that I'm going to tell the system who I want to get these emails. And now this is always going to be available to change. It's a very customizable, flexible thing. It's going to ask me for at least one pastor. So I'm going to go ahead and add Pastor Jeremiah in here. I'll jump ahead to when he's added. Okay, next it's going to ask me for the point people that I want to enroll for my church. Point people means anybody that I want to get the email when a caseworker submits a request and we are in the radius of that request that's been designated. So in this case, Jeremiah does want to get those emails. So I've got to add him to this list as well. And since I've already added him into the system, I actually need to click this link here to add Pastor Jeremiah. It says this is where you would go to add somebody who's already in the CarePortal system. So I'll go here. It's going to just ask me to start typing his name, and it'll find him right there. And he is going to be the primary point person in this case. So I'll hit submit, and it will add him right there. Now, the point people, we do want to put their phone numbers in. So I'll add his phone number here by just hitting edit, and I can add his number there. And now I'm going to add the two other people that Jeremiah told me to add. So they're not in the system already. So I'm just going to hit this button here, and I'll fill this out for each of them. They will not be the primary point people. You can only have one per church. So Jeremiah is filling that role. I'll add both of them. You just fill out, it's very easy. Just fill out the information, hit submit, and I'll jump forward to when they're both added. All right, so we've got all three of our point people. We've got Jeremiah added here as the pastor. And then down here, it'll ask me, am I finished adding point people? I'll say yes, and then finish enrollment. And that should pop up another success screen. There we go. And so now I'm waiting for another email that's going to take me to step 2. So I will jump ahead to when that email comes through, and we'll take it from there. Here it is. Okay, it came in immediately. So I'll just open the email and hit complete step 2. It's going to take me back to another screen. This one's about as easy as it gets. Now, when it comes to Jeremiah, he has not attended an orientation. We have that set up though. So I'm going to, just for presentation's sake, I'm going to say that he has, so that it will trigger the final email. But in the case where maybe you've just learned about CarePortal and you still need to set up an orientation, I'll show you what that looks like. So it's loading, and here we go. So it's going to ask, have you attended an orientation? It's a simple yes or no question. If you have not, then it's going to say, how would you like to schedule one? And basically your regional manager is going to see, again, they're copied on every step of the way as you get these emails as well. So you hopefully will be in communication at this point, unless you're just flying through it all at once late at night. But your regional manager will be in touch to set up an orientation. So there's no fear there. Sometimes you can do it over the phone. Hopefully you can do it in person. But just for the sake of going through this, I'm going to say yes, and it's going to ask me what day. I'll just say yesterday, and we'll hit submit, and it's going to trigger the third and final email step. There we go. All right. So now we're waiting for the third email. Now, and I want to really emphasize this, but the orientation, that's going to be a really detailed understanding and presentation of every step of the way. It's got screenshots of actual requests. It makes sure that you understand every aspect of this email system. And then it also spends a good amount of time talking about just the parameters of working with CPS caseworkers and families that are on their caseload, and other child welfare agencies that are making these requests. It's really important that you understand the specifics of how to best minister to these families. So please, the orientation is very, very important. My favorite part is just talking about just the culture of poverty and what that looks like, what ministry looks like there. So use that as a tool to really equip you. It is very, very helpful, and you can get all of your questions answered at that orientation. Here is this final email that is taking me to step 3, and so I can complete step 3 right here, but it's showing me my progress here. I'm at the final step, and all I've got to do is click complete step 3. And again, these are emails that are triggered. As soon as I hit finish on one step, it should activate the next. So unless you need to schedule an orientation, then you're kind of at a holding point. You need to get that orientation scheduled, talk with your regional manager, get that done, and then once you finish the orientation, the regional manager will click a kind of a all clear button that will finally send this step 3 email to you after your orientation is done. But this is a really simple step as well. You're basically just going to share something that, we would have talked about this at your orientation, but just how do you plan on engaging your people? It doesn't have to be one of these ways. You can always select a different way, but CarePortal, we really want to know what is the common, most effective ways that churches are engaging their congregation with CarePortal. So it could be a video, it could be an email, it could be a meeting that you ask, and that's actually what Pastor Jeremiah is doing. You can share any ideas or questions. Again, this is going to go straight to your regional manager. At the moment, we don't have anything to list there. The second question of the 3 is going to be asking, how are we going to share the CarePortal requests with the people that want to know? So we've seen anything from Facebook groups to email lists to phone calls to, it's any number of ways. It's just information, right? So however you want to share that information, we just want to know how you're planning on doing it, because again, we want to know what's most effective. So just let us know what that looks like. And let me see what Jeremiah told me. At this point, I think he's calling people that could help. Again, there's no ideas or questions at this point, but please take advantage of that if you have any. Okay, now the final part of this with CarePortal, this is going to trigger the activation, but CarePortal is supported by churches. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to give. It's not a contract or a subscription where you can't use the system unless you give as a church. But just know that CarePortal is sustained by the generosity and free will offerings of the church. What is recommended is a $100 a month donation from the church. And now, when you're looking at how revolutionary this could be for your entire local outreach platform, that is a huge bargain. It's almost a joke and a dream to have this amount of local outreach value and opportunity for $100 a month. But you could choose to give another amount. You could be $25 a month. Or you could say, right now we just want to kind of test it out and see what is this going to look like, and then we can determine, the value of what this is for us from there. So I'm actually going to put this for Pastor Jeremiah, just because he and I have a couple more meetings to finish before I'm not going to make any commitments for him at this time. But if I was to put, select this, it's the recommended $100 a month. There's going to be another box that pops up on the next page asking me for a financial point person for the church. That does not mean that it's set in stone. That doesn't mean that, you've written in blood that this is what it's going to be. It's just going to ask, hey, who should we contact in regard to this $100 a month donation? So, don't be alarmed by that. This is not something that, is used to do anything but expand the CarePortal network, which, if you can imagine, as we expand this network and add more churches to this list of in the area, then the radius that every request is given is going to get smaller and smaller, because we've got plenty of churches that are getting it in a smaller area, which means that the families, the emails that you do get as your church, they're going to be even more and more local as more churches sign up. So that is something that, we want churches to invest in fueling this network so that it becomes as strong as possible. and it's your generosity as a church that allows us to do that. So with that said, all of these questions have been answered. I'm going to hit submit, and it's going to pop up with a big old exclamation point telling me that I am officially active, which is awesome. At this point, emails are going to be flowing into Jeremiah and Caroline and Kathy. So it's done. There's actually going to be an email that announces that it's been finished, and this is what it would look like. So officially, University Baptist is active, and the emails are just going to come in whenever Jeremiah and the rest of his team are within. In this case, in Tarrant County, it'll be within about 10 miles from a family that's in need. So we'll have other videos for other aspects of using CarePortal. So if you want access to those, just let me know, or let your regional manager know. We can get you equipped with those. But thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let us know. Thanks.